Hello, welcome back again to today's lesson. We continue from where we stopped last time. We were going through question number two, first character, which is Abraham, and we were able to go through from the background, the call, the promises, the incident where he demonstrated his faith in God, also the covenant between God and Abraham. And I told you there to subscribe so that you can be getting these daily uh, lessons as they come every time. So today we continue with part two of Abraham. We talked about a covenant, and again I said a covenant is an agreement between two people or groups. Any moment you agree, you make a covenant, something which is binding. So students can be asked to explain or outline the characteristics of covenants. What makes it something to be called a covenant? Number one, it has agreement between two people or parties, so that whenever you sit down, you want to make a covenant, you must have some agreement uh, between you and another person. So that one makes it the feature or characteristics number one. Then number two, it must have the promises. If I do this, what are you going to give at the end of it? So it must involve the exchange of the vows or making promises to each other. Unakula kiapo. So those are the promises. Unasema, I'll not reveal whatever we have agreed. Then again, number three, it must have witnesses. So there must be both physical or spiritual during the making of the covenant. Uh, these witnesses are the one who later, in case of anything, will come and testify. Surely, you people, you had a covenant and you must agree. It can be spiritual with your God, it can be physical with somebody, some people who are surrounding there to see. Then again, number four, covenants have signs. This is something which has the outward mark from the two parties, a sign, like now between God and Abraham, the sign is circumcision. And that's a physical outward sign. Circumcision was the sign of the covenant between God and Abraham. Number five, it must have ceremony. The rituals are performed to seal the covenant. That's why we have slaughtering of animals. We call the people to pour down the blood so that those rituals can seal the covenant. Then again, it must have the conditions or what you call consequences. That's number six. Here we are saying that each party is expected to honor the covenant, failure to which it has consequences. If you break them, you are going to go into, you become mad, maybe somebody can die, or something can happen with you. So that is all about the characteristics of a covenant. Then I said, as a learner, go and look at the God's covenant with Abraham. That's Genesis chapter 15, 1 to 19. The question says, sometimes describe the covenant ceremony between God and Abraham. In that ceremony, bring the animals. They were 3-year-olds. That is the ram, the she goat, and a heifer. And don't forget the dove and the young pigeon. So that is so important there. What is the importance of the covenant between God and Abraham? What is the importance? Yes, they had a covenant. Did it have any significance? Does it have any importance? Number one, it marks God's initiative to enter into a personal relationship, which was destroyed before. It marks God's initiative to enter into a personal relationship. Remember, in the Garden of Eden, after mankind was thrown out of the Garden of Eden, God wanted to bring man back to Him. And the only way now is initiating that relationship is through calling of Abraham by making that covenant. So that covenant is so crucial to us in that He wants to initiate that relationship. Then number two, it signified a reward of obeying. So that covenant, it's a reward of obeying and having faith in God. That's the importance of the covenant. Signified the reward of obeying and having faith. Then, number three, it confirms that God was willing to fulfill the promises. God had given the promises during the covenant making. I'll give you a son, the land. People will be sojourners. I'll bring them there. So, entering the covenant, it confirms that God was willing to fulfill those promises there. That is number three. Then, number four, through the covenants, all the nations of the world were to receive God's salvation. So it is through them for all the nations of the world to receive God's salvation. Then again, it shows that God may elect an individual and use him for his or her purpose. God may elect an individual and use that person for his or her purpose. Then again, by entering into a covenant, that's number six, God was confirming his choice of Abraham as the one to fulfill God's plan. So number six, by entering to the covenant, God was confirming his choice of Abraham as the one to fulfill those promises. So those are the expected answers in the importance of the covenant between God and Abraham. Then what were the characteristics of a covenant between God and Abraham? One of the characteristics, number one, it was unconditional, because here two unequal parties got involved. That's God and Abraham. It was unconditional, number one. Number two, it had promises. Then number three, it had an outward sign. That circumcision, we had said that one there. Then number four, it was sealed through the blood of the sacrifice. It must have a seal, so it was sealed through that blood of the sacrifice. Then it was voluntary. Abraham entered it willingly. No one forced him there. He entered himself willingly. Then number six, it was binding. Then the last one, it was initiated by none other than God is the one who initiated it. Then another question from Abraham is, explain how Abraham benefited from the covenant God made with him. Explain how Abraham benefited from the covenant he made with God. I think should be last year, but one last question was set in KCC. Yes, how did Abraham benefit from the covenant he made with God? Number one, Abraham became the source of blessings to all nations. Abraham became the source of blessings to all nations. Then number two, Abraham became a friend of God. Abraham became a friend of God. Number three, Abraham became a role model, or because of his faith or obedience to God, many people like to be like Abraham. Then again, Abraham became famous, or his name became great. Then again, Abraham was blessed with a son. We see at the end of the day that Abraham was given a son, so he benefited. Then again, through the promises, the descendants of Abraham were given the land of Canaan. It's a benefit, because even they call the last promises, I'll give you the land, and at the end of the day, they benefited from that land there. Then again, another benefit, Abraham started worshipping a true God, where he abandoned the worship of idols. Then number 8, he became the ancestor of the chosen people of God. That's why we trace all the origin of the way from the time of Abraham there. He became the ancestor of the people of God. Then Abraham, the last one, number 9, he enjoyed long life. He stayed for so long. So those are the benefits of the covenant between God and Abraham. Then a question which has been said before, state 6 covenants in modern day society. Do you have the covenants today? Do people agree? Where do we see this one there? Number 1 is baptism. That's number 1. Number 2, marriage. People married today. So that's another covenant. Ordination. The priests are ordained, sisters are ordained. Then number 3, oath of loyalty or oath of allegiance. You see the people taking an oath to protect the nation, defend it like the president. Then we have trade agreements or treaties. Historians know those treaties. There are so many of them. Then peace treaties, when communities have conflicts, they resolve by coming together and making the peace treaties. Like when you see the Pokot and Marakwet are fighting, many times they come at the border and they make an agreement, the peace treaty there. Then again, we have land buying contract. Land buying contract. And the last one is employment contract, where you put into papers every time you have a job, you have to agree that I'll be there working from now until this time. Then from there, if I break the covenant, these are the consequences that I'm going to get. Then again, last year, a question was asked: outline the instructions given to Abraham concerning circumcision. You know, there are those instructions God gave concerning circumcision. So, outline 6 instructions given to Abraham concerning circumcision. 1, every male was to be circumcised. Ilikuwa lazima. If you are a male, know where you are running to. So, you have to get circumcised. Then, number 2, circumcision was to be by cutting of the foreskin. Sorry, that circumcision was by the cutting of the foreskin. Then every male was to be circumcised on the 8th day. On the 8th day. Learners should be careful here because many of them be writing on the 8 years. The other day somebody was saying 8 centimeter, 80 millimeter. No, it is every male was to be circumcised on the 8th day from the time of giving birth. You are a male, 8th day, the boy should be circumcised. Then again, it was to be passed from one generation to another. So that circumcision, it was to be passed from one generation to another. Another point, slaves bought with money were to be circumcised. Remember, Abraham had acquired slaves in the land of Haran. Or those slaves were to be those slaves bought with money were to be circumcised. Then any uncircumcised male shall be an outcast or cut off or excommunicated. If you don't, you are not a Jewish. You are to be sent away. You are to be thrown out of their community because you are not circumcised. Then another point, it was to be an everlasting covenant. It was to be an everlasting covenant. And the last one, it was a sign of obedience and faith in God. I hope I'm clear on that one. So if you get instructions, don't start writing, oh, we need to have a ground, we need to have a knife, we are ABCD. No. Instructions which were given concerning circumcision to Abraham. Then again, what is the importance of circumcision to Abraham and his descendants? What was the meaning? Kwa nini? Ni kwa nini hapo wameambiwa circumcise? Did it have anything tangible? Is there something they were benefiting from there? Yes. 1, it was an outward sign of Abraham's descendants' covenant relationship with God. It was an outward sign of relationship with God. Outside the outward sign, yani kuonyesha kwamba you are circumcised to show that you are in a relationship with God. Then again, it was an outward sign of male Jews' true belonging. It was like a sign of belonging because you are circumcised, you are a Jewish, so you belong to the Jewish community. Then number 3, it was an outward sign of the inner faith. Being circumcised, yes, inaonekana, but it's now that faith that you have towards God. Then again, it identified Israelites as God's chosen race. It identified the Israelites as God's chosen race. So if they were circumcised, The people here were regarded as the chosen race of God. Then again, through it, that circumcision, Abraham and his descendants were assured of inheriting God's blessings. Inheriting God's blessings. Then it confirmed that Abraham was obedient and faithful to God. Then it was a sign of continued love and protection from God. The last point, though many people have disputed it, but now it has been marked, it signified purity or the cleanliness. It signified the purity or the cleanliness. Then a question which we need to ask. Jewish and African, of course, they have circumcision. Outline 7 similarities between the Jewish and African traditional regarding circumcision. Number 1, in both cases, it promotes one into full membership of a community. You become a member of the community if you are circumcised, a full member of that community. Yes, you are a Jewish, you are an African coming from a particular region. So it promotes one into a full membership of the community. Then number 2, in both cases, it is a mark of identification of a person or to a particular community. Like now, I am a Jewish, I am a lawyer, like now in African, I am a Kisi, I am a Maasai, I am a Nandi. So it's a mark of identification that identified one person from where he comes from. In both cases, it is carried out to male children. Let me emphasize that, to male children. Why do we say that? Male is identity. Yes, identification, male. Don't say in both cases it is the son. That's that male is the status. Sorry, status. Like male, you can't in both cases the son. Who is a son? It is done to any male there. Then again, in both cases, it has religious significance. It has religious significance. Then in both cases, special people are involved. You have a circumciser in every community where you come from. The same way in among the Jewish, that somebody was doing it at the time of Jesus Christ. He was taken to Simon who did it. Even Africans, we have serious Ngaribas who do that one there. That call out ni circumciser in Kiswahili. I don't remember Kiswahili Ngariba. Ni Ngariba should be Ngariba, then for the kusalisha wanake ni Mukunga au tusi Mukunga usasi Ngalipa. It's Ngariba there. Yes, that's true. Then number 6, in both cases, it unites members with ancestors. The moment you are a cut of the foreskin, that blood goes down. You are connecting yourself with the ancestors. The same with the Jewish, when they circumcise, they connect to direct to Abraham there. In both cases, the members receive the new names. In African, kama kijana hajatailiwa, every community, care among the Kikuyu and the Kamba, among the Kisi, it's Omoisi. But the moment they are circumcised, now they receive new names there. Some other communities, they have the age group, age set system where they give different names. So it depends with every community. But the good thing there, they receive new names. Then again, another similarity, in both cases, it's carried out from one generation to another, or it's compulsory. Because if they do it this time, again, they do it another time there. In both cases, it involves the cutting of the foreskin. In both cases, it involves the cutting of the foreskin. Students, let us agree that when a question is asking the similarities, don't assume that the teachers will be to say male are cut. Like now you assume, you say, in both cases, it involves the cutting of the foreskin, and then unasema male are in foreskin is cut. Like the teacher atakuwekea akili yake mwambie in both in male. No, just write the right way, similarities in both. And then there are those have the tendency of writing in both semicolon, this, that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why are you so tired? And the exam is 2 hours, 30 minutes. All those both things are taken care of. So in both should be emphasized in similarities. If it misses, don't lose a mark because of stupid mistake, which could have given you marks and then you deny yourself the marks. Then now we talk about similarities. We have the differences. What are the differences between the Jewish and African? Like now we know, number one, among the Jewish, it was only carried to the male children, whereas in Africa, it's carried in both gender. That's now male and female. Then again, you see, among the Jews, circumcision is performed on babies. That's 8 days. But in Africa, we have to wait until adolescence stage. That's number two. Among the Jewish, it's carried on the babies 8 days old. Whereas in Africa, it's when somebody is at puberty, adolescence, it's when we carry out that circumcision. African communities, it's a test of courage. Whereas the Jewish, it's a sign of faith. Africans, we want to test if this boy is ready for the war, courage. But the Jewish, it's faith. Then again, in Africa, circumcision is communal. But among the Jewish, it's only the immediate members of that family. But Africa lazima tukule, tusherekee, tukunywe, watu wakuje, watu kushuhudia, because we want witnesses. But among the Jewish, just like the case of Jesus Christ, remember it's only Mary and Joseph who took Jesus. But the case of John the Baptist, the same thing. But in African, sherehe si sherehe kama si watu wengi, lazima wakuja kwa wingi. Then again, another point is that in traditional African communities, initiates takes up responsibilities, but among the Jewish, the initiates are too young to shoulder the responsibility. You know, African, we circumcise somebody who is older. The moment you are a circumcised, you take responsibilities. You can marry, you can own properties, but among the Jewish is a different thing. Then again, in African communities, circumcision is carried during specific seasons. Mwezi wa nane, sana sana December in Western Kenya. It's done in December because that's the time when students are there. But among the Jewish, it is continuous. You give birth on the 8th day with circumcision, so it's a continuous process. In African, it's carried out at specific season, but in Jewish, it's a continuous process. The last point is that Jews link the initiates with God, while the Africa link the initiates with the ancestors. So when you are comparing the two sides, remember you can see those adjectives, whereas, while are the one which are commonly used in that case there. Again, if that question comes, you have seen this number C asking why female circumcision is discouraged in Kenya today. You realize of late, circumcision is not practiced. Female circumcision is discouraged among in Kenya. In fact, the government is tough on this, and we want to know, in application, you come from those sides or you are in Kenya, why female circumcision is discouraged. Number one, it can lead to early marriages, because a small girl who is circumcised, what comes to her mind? I need to be married, because the rite of passage after initiation is marriage. So that's why we're discouraging it. The Kenyan government is discouraging it. Then again, it can lead to school dropout. Why? If somebody is circumcised or initiated, so this girl tends to be married and then they drop out of school because now they see they're mature people. Then again, it can lead to bleeding, which leads to death. That's why the government is discouraging it. Then again, it's against child rights. Then it can lead to injury or a mutilation of reproductive organ. So it is not allowed in that case. Then again, it can cause psychological torture, or it lowers one's prestige. When you know you are the only one who has undergone through such a terrible exercise, it lowers that confidence in you. That's why it is discouraged. So we have mentioned that in among the Jewish community, the time of Abraham, circumcision, it was a mark of identity, to know Jewish from the Gentiles. And the question we are asking here is, what are the ways in which Christians identify themselves in society today? From that circumcision, which is identifying people, we have a question how the ways in which Christians identify themselves in society today. One of the ways Christians identify themselves in today is they wear specific design of clothes. Like if you see a sister nuns, they have a way of wearing clothes. You see these people wearing some things on their head, these other churches. So they wear specific designs of clothes. Then they abstain from eating some foods. Like among this, I think they don't eat the red meat. They don't take machani chai or the tea leaves there. So they abstain from, even they don't take a coke. That's the 70-day Advent. So they abstain from some food there. Another way to identify is by carrying or wearing a rosary. You see them wearing something there to differentiate them from others there. Some of them, it can be a ring, a rosary, so they carrying or wearing rosary. Then again, they have special greetings or salutations. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Mukipatana, you know that one is a Christian. Then through making personal testimonies, unapatana na mtu anatoa ushuhuda, tangu niokoke nifanye nini, so all those things there. Then by owning specific Bible fashions, maybe New King James Version is a way of identifying themselves in the society. Through speaking in tongues, some of them, use of specific church designs, use of different titles, that's what they use. Then again, some others, they reside in secluded homes. So that marks the end of part 2 of Abraham. So we said question number 2, it entails 2 characters, Abraham and Moses. So then, the first thing you need to know about Moses is we start by looking at the call, describe the call of Moses. Remember, in the before describing the call, how did Moses find himself in a foreign land? Moses was raised in the palace that is in Egypt, in Pharaoh's house. And then as he was growing there, he learned so many things. But one day as he was walking, he found 2 people fighting. That's a Jewish and Egyptian. He killed the one who was fighting the Israelites. Then the following day found the same thing going on. And the other person told Moses, do you want to kill me the way you killed another Egyptian yesterday? Moses knew this thing. It's now known. He had to run away for his life. So Moses started the journey from Egypt all the way in the wilderness until he reached the land of Midian. It was there, reaching the land of Midian, where he found out some daughters who were coming to fetch the water, and then he assisted them. And then Jethro, the father, asked these girls, how comes today you have come so early, unlike the previous time? And then they said, we found a man at the well. The one was assisting in drawing the water. The father told them there, go and bring that man into our house. That's how Moses found himself in the house of the priest Jethro in the land of Midian. So when Moses stayed there, not only becoming a shepherd, but also married one of the daughters of Jethro, who is Zipporah, and the other child there. So now is a shepherd working in the house of Jethro. Then this is the time when God is calling this man. Then the question we ask there is, describe the call of Moses. That's in Exodus chapter 3, 1 to 20. Just start by saying there, Moses was looking at his father-in-law flock. Then an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a burning bush. So it's normal when you see a burning bush and you are doing something, he went there to see what was going on. And then he had the sound from heaven telling Moses, remove your shoes, for the place you are standing, it was holy. Then God revealed to him he was, and then from there is a dialogue between the two of them. God saying that I've had the affliction of my people in Egypt to go and rescue them. Then Moses is asking, who are you? God is saying, I'm the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Then Moses did more inquiry. When they ask me, they not believe. When I tell them, then God tells Moses, go and tell them, I am who I am, has sent me to you. So Moses told together all the elders of Israel and then go to worship God far off. Then Moses told to go with the elders to Pharaoh to ask for their release from Egypt. That is a small story, but when you read Exodus chapter 3, 1 to 20, you are going to get the whole part of it. Then here, Moses, remember from that dialogue, it was not like he had what the current Gen Z is calling ish. Reasons why Moses was hesitant, adamant. Why was he against the call? Give reasons why Moses was against God's call. One, he had killed an Egyptian. I mentioned that one in the background. Then again, the Pharaoh wanted to kill him, so he feared for his life because he was a murderer. He was a fugitive from the other side there. Then again, Moses believed that the Israelites will not believe in him. Then again, he was not an eloquent speaker. Then again, he feared that Israel could not believe that God has sent him there. He feared that the Israelites could not believe that God has sent him there. Then he lacked identity, or he lacked courage. He was nobody in that case there. Then he did not have enough knowledge about Yahweh. No wonder man anafanya inquisiting all the time. Then what can I tell them? Who are you? So he lacked the true knowledge of Yahweh. Then again, he was already settled in the land of Midian, but he had a family. He was contented with his life. That's why you see Moses was like, God, maybe I may not come there. Then again, what did Moses learn about God from that call? What did Moses learn about God? One, God is caring. He's concerned with the welfare of his people, who are the Israelites. God is caring. The question is, what did Moses learn about God? Here we are describing God. God is caring. God is transcendent, meaning is beyond human understanding. Is like he cannot be limited to time and space. Then God chooses whoever he wants to carry out his plans. God expects total obedience. Akikuita unaenda. God is powerful. Then God is holy. God is a God of history. God is a mysterious. So God is caring. God is transcendent. God chooses whoever he wants to accomplish his mission. God expects total obedience. God is powerful. God is holy. God is omnipresent. God is mysterious. Those are the answers which are expected from that answer there. Give the values that a Christian can learn from the call of Moses. You as a Christian, which value do you learn? Remember, value is a one-word. It's a one-word answer. Give the values that a Christian learn from the call of Moses. One, humility. Remove the shoes for the place you are standing. It's holy. Humility. Faith or trust. Number two. Number three, love or concern or care. God cared for the Israelites. That one you can see. Honesty. Moses was so honest. Who are you, God? What can I tell them? He was not sure. So it was honesty. Obedience. He accepted and he went. Reverence. He respected and removed the shoes. Curiosity, he moved closer to see the fire. That is curiosity or inquisitiveness. Si kila wakati tunasikia kitu sema yes, no, yes, no. Sometimes you need to inquire and see. Then patience. Then persistence. He persisted to ask God so many questions there. Then justice. So Those are the values. Where's justice coming from there? I have heard the cries of my people, Egypt. They had suffered so long, and God is coming at the right time to help them there. So we have to understand that there should be justice in the society. Then, how did God prepare Moses to become a future leader? How did He prepare Moses to become a future leader? His life was spared. His life was spared when he was rescued by Pharaoh's daughter. That's one way He prepared Moses to become a future leader. Then, number two, he was nursed by his own mother. Then, life in the wilderness hardened him to persevere and being bold. Kwa wilderness. Kutembea kutoka Egypt to Midian si karibu. That life hardened him to become bold. He learned to be patient, keen, and responsible as a shepherd. That's how God prepared him there. As a shepherd, God prepared him there. When you're in the field, you have to know how many flocks I have. Where is the lion coming from there? That keenness, itamsaidia wakati atakutoka na the Israel from the land of Egypt all the way to the land of Canaan. He acquired leadership skills while in the palace. Mungu alimweka tu huko. So he acquired leadership skills. He learned numeracy and literacy skills while in the palace. Itamsaidia. Then again, he was not stranger to Pharaoh. Hence, he could approach him freely the way he wanted. 2016, list 6 plagues during the time of Moses. I know some people have the acronyms, they have songs they sing, but for me, I can tell you they are the plague of blood, frogs, boils, plague of hail, locust, darkness, and the death of the firstborn males. So you have the plague of blood, frogs, gnats, flies, death of cattle, plague of boils, plague of hail, plague of locust, darkness, which was for 3 days, then the death of the firstborn sons. Remember that one, how it happened. Then from those 10 plagues, what are the attributes of God from those 10 plagues? Attributes of God from the 10 plagues. God empowers His people. Attributes should be you are describing God. God is almighty. He's more powerful than those Egyptian gods. God is determined to fulfill His plans. Lazima ngatoko kwa shida huko Egypt. God is a God of justice. He protected the oppressed. God gives everyone a chance. That's why we have the 10 plagues. Farao anakataa ya kwanza, Mungu anamwambia ingine. That means God gives our people a chance. Then God fulfills the promises. He told them you'll be suffering, but the 4th generation I'll bring you out. And then we say He fulfills the promises which He had delivered to Abraham. God expects total obedience. God communicates His will through natural events. Then the last one, God is caring and loving. Attributes, we have agreed that anytime you see the attribute, remember it is God we are describing. And most of the time, those attributes looks more the same from creation, the call and any other place there. Then describe the Passover, preparation for the Passover. Describe the preparation for the Passover. That when you read Exodus chapter 12, you get all those answers there in that story there. Because each man was to choose a young lamb, and then the animals was to be made 1 year. That means it was to be without the blemish. Then the animal chosen was to be killed on the 14th day. It was to be killed on the 14th day. And the lamb was to be roasted whole. The reason for using that one, it was the quickest method of cooking, because boiling and other things takes time. Then that Passover was to be commemorated annually, or kept from one generation to another. So those are the activities, events which took place during that Passover. I think the time is almost on the dot. We stop there and then we will continue from there next time. Thank you so much.